Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back. Ladies, men of prestige, you're welcome back to the platform. We're going to have a good time today. I'm all yours. We're going to have a good time. We have to cover the news, we have to cover some trendy stuff. We also have to cover some of the lessons that, gentlemen, we have to pay attention to. We have to stay away from pointing fingers and blaming any other group of people, but take responsibility for the power that we have, right? And if you're not aware that we have power, I'll point them out to you, and then hopefully we can create better results. We have no choice but to just focus on results. Just results. The results are the reality, not your ideologies, not what you think is truth, not what your mouth is saying. The results are the reality you have to pay attention to. And if you want a different outcome, then you have to take charge. Last week, I was a little bit under the weather. We have Kevin Samuel starting the show with us, but it's all good. Last week, we were under the weather, right? And please go ahead and share, hit the like, subscribe as you're coming in. Even if you're watching a rebroadcast, please go ahead and do that for us. Last week we were under the weather. I was. So if you watch some of the shows that I put out last week, you probably will notice. Let's make sure audio is good. All right, audio is good. Audio is good. That's awesome. All right, so yes, so last week was a little rough for me, but I still made sure that we came back here and we put out some shows, right? So with that being said, I'm happy to be back. My voice is a little bit clearer, and we can talk about some of the things that's happening right now. It's crazy the world we live in. This is what's happening right now. It's sad that we have to deal with this. It's very, very sad. Let's make sure that, oh Lord, we're connected to the wrong internet source. Let me, if I go out and I'll come right back in, but let me just pause for a second. Let's see if we can switch very quickly. And three, two, one, zero. Let me just see. All right. Can you guys still hear me? All right, good. We came right back in. I want to make sure that we have the right internet source. Xfinity is mad. Somehow they connect with my Wi-Fi. I have a Wi-Fi that I pay for here to make sure we flow a lot more easier. That will put on a good show. All right. So, like I was saying, we have this craziness going on. Let me share my screen with you. This old shooting thing is getting mad. It's getting crazier. If you're a Christian, I want you to start praying for our children, for ourselves. If you're a man in this generation, we have to do something better, right? If you're anybody in a position of power, political power, anything like that, we definitely have to assess things outside of our emotions. The first thing that came to my mind is mental health. Yes, I'm just being honest with you. Not as an excuse that, terrible criminals would like to use that as an excuse, um, but in terms of our kids, in terms of ourselves, in terms of making sure that we're always taking care of ourselves from a mental health standpoint, but also in terms of making sure that criminals end up uh, getting put away for life. Okay. So when I say mental health, I mean mental disease precisely. And making sure that we put people that would use it as an excuse away for life, not the opposite. Okay. I noticed that a lot of people they tend to get triggered, because they think you're trying to exonerate criminals. Anybody who goes into schools with little children to just go shoot up the whole place, they deserve to be put away for life. That's the bottom line. How are you, Miss Good, Mrs. I was about to say good, Miss. She said, "How are you, ma'am? Good to have you." Right? Anybody, right, that will go and do any harm, regardless of what the reason is, they're not safe for the public. They need to be put away for life. No mercy. However, for those of us that are left here, we do have to talk about mental health, mental disease, taking care of our mental health, our physical health, making sure you're good, making sure that you don't have false beliefs about the existence of mankind. A lot of us were walking around with unrealistic expectations of life. And then when it doesn't work that way, we get angry. We just get very, very angry at the world. And then we tag on to some kind of political rhetoric, nonsense, and then whatever fits your narrative or your experience, and then you're not thinking straight, and it's just another. It doesn't matter what side you're on. You're just another political, intellectual diarrhea. That's what we have all over the place. Gun control. Some people are for guns, not for guns, but everything I'm hearing is just emotional talks. No one is really, really paying attention to basically the things we can control. There's some things we're normal people, there's just some things we can't control. And if you're here and you think that people that have powers like government and things like that, and you think they care about humanity to the extent that they wouldn't do crazy things, um, we're fooling ourselves. Power is crazy. When people have the ability to pull triggers, they will use it to the extent that you probably, as a normal person, can't fathom. Yes, we're just numbers to them. I'm sorry. That's just the reality, right? And she said all is well. However, I truly understand what you're speaking of. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we definitely need to start doing some things a little bit differently, because clearly something is off. Something crazy is happening. And let me show you. Let me share my screen with you. Some of the stuff that I was just looking at before I came live. Let me share. This is a Wikipedia page. Obviously, the powers that be can control the narrative. So I don't trust any of the sources I'm pulling out, but I'm just pulling out there for you because they're out there, right? Let me show you some of the stuff here. This is a Wikipedia page, right? And this is about the shootings that's going on, right? This is one right here. It shows you everything just up to 2021. Now, I know of at least two in the last 1 month or 2 months, right? The one in Buffalo and then the one in Uvalde, Texas, right? Then also we know what's going on in Chicago, right? The title says Uvalde, Texas versus Chicago, Illinois, right? The truth is that something needs to change. Now, again, you and I, regular people, all we need to do is cry out, say something, right? Because you don't really have that much power, but we understand the pain. Even if it's ordinarily the pain of you can't even imagine if your kids or your grandchildren are involved with this kind of situation. Anybody's child could be in that school, right? But check this out. This is 2021, right? Now, I don't know how true this is. Again, I can't verify them right now. I was just looking at them shortly before I came on. San Jose, anytime you see red, these are dead people and these are shootings, basically, right? Indianapolis, this is last year. Orange, this is too much because this is not just about the unfortunate situation of these individuals who are somebody's family, right? But even you and I, the fear, the emotional damage to people afraid of going out there, right? Obviously 2020 is a little bit less for obvious reasons. Everybody was inside, right? Because of the deadly disease, right? But if you go back to 2019, check this out. Jersey City, Pensacola, Florida, Odessa, Texas, right? Dayton, Ohio, El Paso, Texas. I mean, look at how many people here: 22 dead, 26 injured, right? This is crazy. I mean, 2018, right? Check this out. Las Vegas in 2017, strip massacre, right? So I hate to be the bearer of bad news because that's what I accuse the CNNs and them for. But again, this is on Reuters.com. But check this out on Wikipedia. Check out this graph. You see that rise since 1982, although population is growing, but still, right? You see that 2020 number right there, right? It's crazy, right? So for me, three things comes to mind that we still need to discuss. obviously making sure that criminals, I don't care what your reasons are, I don't care who incited you on the internet, I don't care what you're trying to claim. If you become dangerous to the society, you have to be put away for life. For life. You're a criminal. Nonetheless, we're now about to trace back to 100, 400 years of trauma to find out if you're a true criminal or not. You are a criminal, okay? I don't care if it's Kevin Samuels. I don't care if it's the white manosphere. I don't care if it's the racism people on the internet that incited you. I don't care if it's the people in the Middle East. All of those becomes excuses once you become a criminal. You will be put away for life. Now, after that, we still got to talk about gun control. We got to talk about mental health. We have to. At what level? I don't know, but we have to talk about it. We can't shy away from talking about it because of your political agendas or your political orientation. I don't care about any of those things. Not when lives are involved, because clearly the people that have the power in their hands, they don't care, right? We can't afford to be quiet about mental health. See, when you know better, you do better. We can't keep acting like it's 1960 in every little topic. When we talk about women and men, you talk about you try to bring 1960 to the surface. When we talk about gun control, you're trying to bring 1960 or Second Amendment to the surface. We're talking about now people's lives is a danger. We have to talk about it. Some kind of control is absolutely necessary. Okay? Some kind of control is necessary. So anyway, here's the thing. Did I'm asking questions. I'm asking questions. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough politically to really speak to a lot of this, but we have to talk. In fact, what I want you to do is I need many of your comments. If you're watching this as a replay, a rebroadcast later, I want to learn from you. What is the real issues here, right? See, somebody said, I was having a conversation with a set of other people, and somebody said, oh, yeah, there's no shootings going on. They don't shoot out like this in Africa and in England. And I'm like, okay, do they have access to guns like that? Somebody said they have access to knives. See, if you take a knife and you start stabbing people, there's only so many people you can stab before we stop you. Can we all agree to that? If you take a machete and you start cutting people, there's only so many people you can cut within a few seconds before we stop you. Okay? All right? Now, if you have access to rifles, automatic weapons, and stuff like that, there's only so many people you can hurt before someone can stop you. There's quite a lot more few, right? Again, I don't know. Let's just have the conversation. I would do another session later once I collect all the comments, right? And I see what people are talking about and do some research. Because again, when it gets to political and all this kind of stuff, I tend to shy away from it. I'm just being honest with you, okay? Because people are usually caught up in their emotions, their personal experiences, and they have serious gross incapabilities to assess things from an objective standpoint. That's everyone across board, okay? So that's what I would like to talk about at some point, okay? But for now, I just want to bring this to the surface that we need to talk. Something has to happen, okay? You and I have kids, or we have grandchildren, or we have cousins, nephews, nieces in these schools. Everyone would not be able to afford homeschooling. Plus, that's weird as hell because, again, social. We are social beings. We need to connect with each other, including strangers, okay? So let me see some of your comments here. She says, we used to move with action, no talk, just talk. Yeah. America needs me right now. I am America's only hope. Thank you, America. America needs Sharia law. Yeah. Yeah. Good luck with that. Gone are accessible. However, people kill people. Yeah. The truth is that it's not me talking to you right now. There's quite a few technologies that's been aligned together for me to be able to talk to you from thousands of miles away, possibly. That's just the truth. We can't shy away from that truth. The type of technology we have access to, the leverage we have access to makes a lot of difference. We can't cap about that. We just can't. Okay? So again, there may be a blind spot that I don't see yet, but I want to talk about it. That's why, again, I talk about the mental health. So some people are using mental health on one end to push unnecessary political agendas. Some people are using gun control on one end. They had the NRA meeting thing going on, and you have all those people talking, but no one is talking about these kids. 19 of them, 19, 18 or 19, something like that, with two adults, right? So we need to talk. We need to have this conversation. There's no way around it because something has to give, right? All right. So with that being said, we got quite a few reactions as usual that we need to get in today. I want to get into it. We're gonna have a good time doing that because again, people are talking. If they're talking, there are lessons. They're telling us the truth, not raw truth, but they're saying there's some kind of element of truth in it, and at least we can extract some lessons out of it. So let's get started. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
But they're still afraid of what consequences could be from all of this. With a number of them hitting on a note that USA Today hit on, saying, the loudest voices on the internet may not believe Heard, but millions of women have had experiences like the ones she describes. When people mock her, experts say they're inadvertently laughing at every person who has said they are a victim of abuse.
You know how many victims of this will watch this whole thing and go, no, we're laughing because she's a fucking liar and her story is ridiculous. Everybody's looking at this story and they see the overwhelming evidence. They've heard the voice recordings from Amber herself saying that she was attacking Johnny, doing all this stuff, and they see her lying on the stand, right, and getting caught in lies, and they're like, well, yeah, this is hilarious. This is like a joke of a story. This one that every
All right. So let's talk about this. We'll talk about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. All right. The story that keeps giving, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Okay. I try to follow it a little bit, but some of the things that keep coming up on the scene. Again, the first time I covered it, I told you I didn't know much about the story, but it's getting a little bit interesting. The little I'm picking up, I talked about the sister who said she couldn't advise on their marriage and things like that, which is the reality. People can't really advise on your marriage. Plus, they won't listen when they're in love, right? But I didn't have enough details about them. To be frank with you, I wasn't really familiar with this. My wife was familiar with them because she's a movie fan, right? But yeah, there's a few things I've seen so far that piqued my interest. Okay, number one is this whole Me Too movement thing. I'm not a fan of the Me Too movement either. Okay, I'm just being honest with you. Just because I've seen enough to say, okay, can you slow down a little bit? Can you slow down a little bit when it comes to, oh yeah, we're just gonna believe women, right? I saw that a few years ago. I've noticed that anytime they're talking about, the word that rhymes with the fruit, the purple color thing. I'm not gonna say that word right now, right? And anytime people are talking about it, somebody came out with an accusation, especially since the Chris Brown um, thing, right? Obviously, there were evidence on that one, and he admitted to engaging in, laying his hands on a woman, right? But since then, we've also seen quite a like a troop of stories of just randoms, insane accusations, and everyone believes before they actually prove them guilty. Some have been guilty, some are innocent, and for me, just common sense, just looking at things objectively, it doesn't really make any sense. That somebody is just gonna say, "Oh yeah, he did something to me. Oh yeah, it must be true." That really never made any sense to me. Okay, but then when I talked about it, people push back and say, "No, you should still believe the victim." That's like victim shaming and all this kind of stuff. So when I first covered this, I didn't know this was potentially one of them, right? But then I started to listen to a few other platforms, and then they're saying she told a bunch of lies. One of them being Abba and Preach, that she told a ton of lies, right? And that's kind of sad, because we know that these things happened, but it was kind of difficult to come out because of the cancel culture and Me Too culture. You can't make fun of the slightest anything, which I agree. There should be a line. You shouldn't be able to make fun of traumatic experience for people. But if somebody has evidences against them already, I mean, it's a live coverage of the whole trial, that they're lying, that they lied. Like as of yesterday, I was just looking at another video where she potentially may have photoshopped a lot of the pictures showing that she was beaten up, right? All right. So why would you ever need to put such photos through Photoshop or any kind of softwares, right? So that's kind of scary for me because I got boys, okay? And we have a generation on the internet, on social media, who tends to believe headlines before they actually go into the story. And then they see a headline, they don't consume the content in totality, they run with just whatever they want to believe, and then they connect it with another person, and before you know it, it becomes the truth. Unfortunately, sadly, that's the generation that we live in. All right. So this Amber and Johnny Depp's situation is coming to be like that. Now, a lot of people are on the internet rooting for Johnny Depp. It looks like there's a lot more people on his side. Okay. There's a bunch of women on his side. There's obviously a bunch of men on this side. So she's not getting a lot of support. Now, a few things that I'm looking at with this couple that seems weird to me is as soon as there was a divorce or some sort of divorce or something like that, she ran straight to create some kind of article. I think it was on New York Post or TMZ, something like that. And then it was an elaborate article um about DV, right? Domestic blah blah blah, right? And she's claiming to be the activist now. Now, this is something that I was very suspicious of. I suspected something like this happening, like literally up to 5 years ago. Like this was gonna about to start happening, right? Like people would just say, "Hey, I blacked out, but when I woke up, I saw a little mark on my body. This is what happened to me," and people would not do any kind of investigation whatsoever. My point is that it's scary because if you know how capable human beings are of being delusional, you will never allow that in a society where there are institutions. Okay. So in a twisted way, I'm not happy that there's a story out there at all about domestic blah blah, right? But um I'm sort of kind of happy that there's a little pushback against the idea um of public judgment, public opinion and public judgment. We need a pushback because if we don't do that, it's just dangerous. Does that make sense? It's just dangerous that we're just going to allow anyone to just come out and accuse anyone of anything, not do proper investigation, right? And, the court of public opinion will lock them up for life or destroy their freedom for life. It's dangerous. So that's what this story is becoming. It's becoming like it's more so uh, about the lies that some women, yes, not all women, obviously, because that was the case. Is I don't care if you're generalizing. If that was the case, we would live in a war zone, right? And we don't live in a war zone. So uh, let's get in the habit of saying some. Okay, just because you're trying to build a platform doesn't mean you should be generalizing people heavily against one group of people. It's terrible. It tells me more about you and your character if you do such things. It is still some, enough some that we do need to, definitely address. And if this case comes out that she's lying, then it will be victory for all of us because again we got sons and we don't want them to go to school and they're just cracking a small joke and before you know it somebody says, hey, they touched somebody inappropriately, right? Now on the flip side of things, we do want criminals that touch people inappropriately, we want them to keep getting locked away too. Okay, so I'm just hoping that we're able to build a system institutions that we can trust for proper judgment, you know.
Amber Heard, but they're still afraid of what consequences could be from all of this. With a number of them hitting on a note that USA Today hit on, saying, the loudest voices on the internet may not believe Heard, but millions of women have had experiences like the ones she describes. When people mock her, experts say they're inadvertently laughing at every person who has said they are a victim of abuse.
You know how many victims of this will watch this whole thing and go, no, we're laughing because she's a fucking liar and her story is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Everybody's looking at this story and they see the overwhelming evidence. They've heard the voice recordings from Amber Heard.
So, overwhelming evidence. Everyone is talking about it. I'm yet to actually review. I actually do want to review and see some of the stuff over there. You can see here that I have the timeline open here. I'm actually going to review some of it. And then if you guys are interested, I'll talk more about it, you know. They met on set as far back as 2009. That's a while back, you know. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it when we get to it. But for now, I just think again, if we need a well balanced institutions that will put proper judgment in place without the influence of public opinion and social media. All right. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
Having a boyfriend.
Hell no. For what?
I think
What
Carly
you
should
gonna do
just
with a
be
boyfriend?
strict.
What you gonna do
A
with a
lot of
boyfriend
these-
at 15?
A boy, that's a friend.
No,
Mm-mm.
no. And dating at 15, no. You setting the child up. Boy, hormones, her hormones. No.
Oh, y'all must not remember being 15, huh?
I do.
No,
That's
I
why
was
my
not
daughter
doing
is
that
9.
shit. I was
remember
playing
15.
sports, getting A's.
No.
Okay.
Well,
Was you out there
None
at
of us were
15,
doing
Kayla?
anything at 15. We all were just playing sports.
No,
and reading
that's-
books.
No,
That's
I
the
was
point.
playing sports.
That's
I'm
the point. We
sweetheart.
understand what happens at 15. So the idea is, you know what 15-year-olds think about. So I'm going to protect my child to make sure, again, as a mother, I want to keep my child as innocent as possible.
Because
For
there's a
as
lot
long
of
as
girls.
possible.
15.
All right. So this is on parenting, right? So I'm raising 3 kids, right? And you know, for those that know me personally, they know that my wife and I have done a great job. I'm not patting myself on the back. I hope it continues that way. But I've had some experiences that would make me say, you know what? There's a formula to doing this properly, right? Obviously, ultimately, for those of you that are spiritual, it's all in the hands of God, right? But there's some things you can do. There's some skill sets you can have when it comes to parenting. And obviously, parenting goes all the way from birth or adoption, right, to 18 years and beyond. Okay? Like once they become adults, you still will need some certain skill set to relate with them because they become important people in your life, and that's a relationship you still need to nurture. And the last thing you want to do is do some things when they are babies, when they are 7 years old, 6, 7, 8, 12 years old, and you've done something that rubs them off the wrong way, that creates a traumatic, that becomes a traumatic experience for them that they carry into adulthood, and they're not able to heal easily out of it, right? Obviously, there's no one perfect solution, right? But that's often an excuse that people use to not want to learn something new when they're confused. They say, oh, there's no formula to this. Everyone should do what they want to do. I disagree 100%. Everything we do in life as human beings, in this human experience, can be learned. You can learn some things, all right? Some people have created formulas. They've done studies, right? There are certain strategies that work and some that doesn't work, right? And it's based off of real life samples, okay, of data, of That means human beings and examples and case studies of one way of parenting, um, correlating with certain results, right? So they're talking about 15 years old. Should a 15 years old have a boyfriend, right? Should a 15 years old have a boyfriend? I'll tell you what, when I was growing up, the idea of a 15 years old having a boyfriend, I'm 42 years old now. Um, idea for 15 years old having a boyfriend is completely a strange idea, right? That doesn't mean that teenagers did not get with each other, even sometimes, yes, in Africa, for those of you that didn't know, impregnate themselves, impregnate the girl, right? Unprotected sex, bad behavior, smoking, stuff that they have no business touching, right? And, anything you can think of in terms of being a bad kid, yes, existed in Africa too. Never mind the cap that some of those other African kids are putting out there. It's everywhere in the world where there's human beings, there are bad kids and there are good kids. That's just the bottom line. Okay. So now with that being said, there's some skill sets that you can have. Um, and part of it we have to do with how objective, how capable are you of being objective when it comes to raising kids? I've heard quite a few people, they tend to want to talk out of their ass like, nah, don't spare the rods, spare the rods and spoil the child. They can't think of anything outside of written stuff, forgetting that it was human beings who wrote those things in the first place based off of a cultural orientation at the time it was written, right? Based off of some people's religious beliefs, which there's nothing wrong with that. Some people just don't know, right? And they tend to talk out of their ass, like I said, like, hey, I beat the nonsense out of my kids because that's how they did me, and I turned out all right. That's a terrible way of thinking about the human experience. The human experience is evolving always. And even if you don't want to evolve, you still want to pay attention to the devil you're fighting against so you don't hurt yourself. So even if you want to retain traditional values, it's absolutely ignorant and irresponsible to not pay attention to how the times are moving, right? With that being said, a 15-year-old with a boyfriend, it depends. It just depends. It depends on what you mean by boyfriend. What do you mean by boyfriend? Sometimes they have a little puppy love and they call it boyfriend. They don't even hug, right? So it goes back to, do you even know your child enough? Like your child may say, oh, yeah, this is my boyfriend, but they've never hugged before. Do they feel free to have conversation with you like that at that level? If they don't, your problem is bigger than a boyfriend for that 15-year-old. Like if your 15-year-old locks up the door and they lock the door and you can't like twist the knob to come inside, even if you choose not to, but the idea that you can, right? If you're not able to do that, you don't even know your child and you're all over the place capping about how capable you are of instilling certain rules in them. Okay? So I'm going to say this about that. It really, really just depends. It depends on what we're talking about. Can a 15-year-old have a boyfriend? It depends. When I was growing up, it wasn't allowed, but also the way I was raised, my parents did a good job. I'll give them that credit. However, there's a lot of bad kids that came out of my generation as well. Okay. Hey, Just Jay, how are you? How you doing, my sister? Right? There's a lot of bad kids that came out of any generation in any society, anywhere in the world, right? So it depends, right? Again, it depends on how much do you know your child. If you don't know your child and they having a boyfriend at the age of 15, it's already probably bad. Like it's probably too late for you. The more so reason why you want to engage emotional intelligence skill set, because you're gonna need it, because that baby has a lot going on in her head that you have no idea. And there's, because you're one human being, there is no way you could possibly cover all the details of what's going on in that baby's head, right? But if you know your child and they come up and say, and they can feel free to come to you and say, Dad, what do you think about having a boyfriend? Or Mom, what do you think about having a boyfriend? And they don't feel free to be able to have that conversation with you. Again, your problem is bigger than just a boyfriend. They're probably smoking weed already every other second at the age of 15. They're probably drinking already. They probably sneak out at night already. There's just so much going that you don't know. And the more you tell them you can't do this, the more they create sneaky ways to do even worse because you don't know your child. Everything goes back to you must know your child. Okay? You should do everything in your power to make your child feel safe to come around and talk to you, make them feel like they can say, Dad and Mom is my friend. Some of you are so stuck in semantics. No, I'm not his friend, I'm his father. That's semantics. It doesn't matter. If your child could care less about you being a friend anyway, how does that even matter? It doesn't matter. You're stuck in semantics as opposed to the reality of the results that you're creating. Right? So, again, can your child say, I feel safe, I can go to my dad and my mom and talk to them about anything? If you don't have that, you will never know that she had a boyfriend at 15. How about that? How is that for a surprise for you? Okay? So it doesn't even matter. A lot of these conversations don't matter when it comes down to real life. Do you know your child? Right? Can your child say, yes, I can come to daddy, mommy, have a conversation without it, I'm not her friend. None of this, right? All this kind of craziness, right? It's just intellectual diarrhea all over the place. Not the Lapi family, I love them. They just helping me create a conversation here, right? That's what most important to me. My children feel safe coming to me. Yes. We don't care if they're your friend or not. That's just semantics. If they feel like your friend, then that's better than them not feeling like they're your friend because you will never know that he had a boyfriend at the age of 15 anyway. So you're just basically shooting out blank air. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the part of the conversation we should be having. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right.
No,
mobility
no,
scooters,
just,
and that's not right.
she's
There's
shaming
some.
fat women. He's shaming fat women.
He is
and,
shaming fat women, but he
yeah.
doesn't shame
And
fat
that's
men, though.
and that's not because he doesn't want to fuck them.
Exactly. I'll shame them for him.
All right. All right.
That's why I'm a feminist.
All right. All right. So go ahead, Jackie. You can take it. You can take us home. You can take us back to the original discussion because
Right. I'm gonna take it back there.
yeah. Go ahead and take us home. All right.
All right, let me play that. This guy's name is Bernard Riley. I don't know if that's his real name. That's the name of his channel, Bernard Riley. They talk about manosphere stuff. It's about they're always talking about the simps. If they're not talking about the simps, they're talking about the 304s. If they're not talking about the 304s, they are busy pandering to Kevin Samuel's talking point or any manosphere talking point. That's what they tend to do. So yes, I do watch them just to make sure I stay on top of the of the topics, right? So let me play that video again. It's a very short clip, and there's something I have to say about that clip.
Over on mobility scooters, and that's not right.
She's
There's
shaming
some.
fat women. He's shaming fat women.
He is shaming fat women, but he doesn't shame
And
fat
that's-
men, though.
And that's not because he doesn't want to fuck them.
Exactly. I'll shame them for him.
All right. All right.
That's why I'm a feminist.
All right. All right. So go ahead, Jackie. You can take it. You can take us home. You can take us back to the original discussion because
Right. I'm gonna take.
All right, so here's why I played it. Right, so I was watching one of the live streams. Stumbled into it, and then there's this guy that was on the panel that was obviously shaming fat women, right? And there's this lady. She's actually one of my Nigerian sisters that I've seen in the space. She's on quite a few panels. She's a feminist. She's a self-proclaimed feminist, and she's always, battling these people out. I think she feels she can handle them. Good luck to her. Excuse me. Right. So, and then they're talking about the guy. This was one of these avatars right here. They're usually faceless too. I have a feeling it's this faceless one, right? And one of the guys, said something about fat women, just basically outrightly shaming fat women as usual, you know. And then she goes, he's shaming fat women, but he doesn't shame fat men. And then he goes, because he doesn't want to fuck fat men. And that made me like, okay, wow. So are you admitting that it's because you want to fuck those people that you're shaming them? Or which one is it? Or you're saying, I don't care. I don't want those girls anyway, right? Which one of it, right? And and it's a question. It's just a question, right? So I'm shaming fat women because I want to fuck them. That's the direct opposite of the statement. You get what I'm saying? That's the direct opposite. I'm trying to do the math in my head. If you say, well, he doesn't shame fat men, and he said because he doesn't want to fuck them. Oh, okay. But I thought they don't want to fuck the fat women too, right? And there's this other aspect of things where we say, hey, what about options? What is the problem? Do you not have options, right? Or some people will say, no, we just care about our community. We want them to be healthy. That's the other cap, right? We want them to be healthy, right? That's why we're talking about it, right? Or, nah, we just want to divest. Nah, we should just go to Thailand and Africa and go find a wife. That's all cap all day long. Can we all agree to that? So I'm gonna play the video again. I'm trying to, right? It's just a question, right? Is it that you want fat women or you don't want fat women? Because that statement says, oh, we want them, so we're gonna shame them onto the, oh, you know what? They are encouraging everyone else, all the other skinny girls, to become fat. And we don't want that. We want to stop them right now in their tracks to stop pushing people, other people to become fat or encouraging people to have bad behavior, right? Hold them accountable.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back there.
Yeah, go ahead and take us home. All right.
Oh
Look
Lord.
at it on
No,
mobility
no,
scooters, and that's not right.
She's
There's
shaming
some.
fat women. He's shaming fat women.
He is
And,
shaming fat women, but he
yeah,
doesn't shame
and
fat
that's
men, though.
and that's not because he doesn't want to fuck them.
Exactly. I'll
He doesn't shame fat men though because he doesn't want to fuck them. So let's go back to what everyone caps about. Everybody caps about this is about the community. We're saying these things because we want the community to be better. The black people's community, right? And then after the black people say, no, you're African, you're not black, shut the fuck up, right? Then we say, okay, then a bunch of African dumb ass lame dudes in the comments saying, yes, our community. It's like, dude, they said you're not black. What are you talking about? You mean the African 50 countries, nations? Is that what you're talking about? All those people are fat too? Or you just happen to be in America as a black person and you have problem with options? You have, I mean, what? Okay, I'm not shaming. I'm sorry, I'm not shaming. I'm just saying, which one exactly is the issue? Is it because we want to shame black people? Or sorry, fat people? Or you know what? Since I don't want to touch any black man, they can feel free to become unhealthy anyway. Which one is it? I'm just asking, just as a married man walking past, seeing the struggle in the dating world, and say, hey, maybe I could help. And he said, no, shut the fuck up. You can't help. You haven't been in the market for a while. Get out of my face, right? Right? Which one is it? Just say, I get tired of people talking about what they don't want. Right? You don't want it, right? There's 7 billion of us in this world, maybe at least 1 billion women. And but you're gonna shame them? Why? Oh, because of the community? You should be doing the same thing for the fat man too. If it's just because of the community. Or, as I'm suspecting, is this just all caps? Is this just all caps at the end of the day? Pick a struggle. I didn't say it. She said it, right? I promise. She said it. Pick a goddamn struggle. Which one is it? Are we confused or what? I'm just asking. Maybe somebody can help me. Maybe somebody has some kind of answer for me here. Oh, Lord. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, so I got this a couple of videos here. We're gonna review it together. It's about 5 small clips. So Ti released a video last week with Kevin Samuels. There was a interview that he did with him, right? I guess before he passed away. Actually, quite a while back. Maybe it's probably like almost a year ago, because he said in the video that he had less than 400,000 subscribers at the time. But before he passed away a few weeks ago, he had 1.4, something like that, million subscribers. So it's a while back. I know he blew up very fast, but it's a few months ago when he had less than 400,000. So, but nonetheless, I found some clips, some rhetorics here. Is about, when I was watching, it's about 470 people watching the premiere live. So let's play this.
It's
video.
called No Walt. Not all women are like that. I'm like, yeah. If we're gonna have a conversation about general stuff, we can't go down the it's not always, it's not this, because that's a deflection tactic many women try to use. I got a lot of little buzzwords I use to make the conversation single.
Okay.
And then one of the biggest ones is called sign language.
Okay.
Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. It's like plays that used to work in Tecmo Bowl. Cap Boso over the middle, Bo Jackson for the win. These things tend to work to get.
Whatever you just said, I didn't understand that. I'm African, so Cap Bozo. If you can type it into the comment for me, I don't know whatever that was, but I don't think it would matter. But let's continue.
Conversations thrown off, because what you're honestly saying is, look, I got a married situation, you got a single situation. Don't bring your single ideas into my married house.
That's right.
Well, not all. I was like, well, then you go talk to them, not all over there. I'll come back when you got a husband and some years in this thing.
It goes. I mean, the man has landmines.
All right, so let's talk about that really quickly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree on that. But nonetheless, sometimes the truth is packaged in lies, and that's okay. I can. He said, I don't know either, right? Yeah, I could work with it. But he talked about the sign language, right? The sign language is one of the things that launched this channel when I featured on the TLA's platform, right? It was something that I noticed a bunch of the men in the manosphere were using anytime they don't want to hear the truth. They just go, there goes the sign language again. I saw it a few times. I'm like, sign language, it kind of correlates with the sign, sign language, like, people that have, what do you call them? The people with disability that can't, that are hard at hearing. What do you call them? Sign language for the deaf community, right? So, but I didn't know that it was an acronym, right? But it made sense, acronym: shaming, insulting, guilt tripping, and need to be right, or nagging. Some people, I've heard people say nagging before, so they tend to be confused themselves. But either way, right? And I said, look, okay, so now he's saying that he generalizes. But then when people come back with sign language, it's like kind of like surprise. I'm like, why are you surprised? If you generalize, if you blanket everybody, yes, the American Sign Language for the deaf community, right? If you blanket everyone into one stupid rhetoric because of your personal experience, yes, I find that 100% of the time people join these communities because of personal experience. They're just not willing to acknowledge. For the most part, they will rather shame and insult other people, and then claim and turn it around and say, they kind of beat you to your own game and say, hey, you're the one shaming and insulting, but they actually engage in it more. It happens on both sides, both men and women. Okay. So, so I noticed that, but he's giving the excuse and saying, that's why I generalize. So he goes,
not all. It's called No Walt. Not all women are like that. I'm like, yeah.
Not all women are like that. No what? I'm hearing that for the first time. Literally, like right now. I watched that video before, but I just caught that for the first time. No what? Not all women are like that. But that pushback is rightfully so, especially if a million people are listening to you and you're generalizing, and there are little boys that can't think for themselves in the comment area would tend to go outside and relate with other people with their generalized ideologies that they heard from their godfather, right? And they can pick up that this man, for the most part, I respect him because obviously he's a marketer, he's a genius marketer, right? For the most part, had all the slick talks to build a community, did a fantastic job doing it. No what? I mean, think about that for a second. No what, right? What is the excuse like, oh yeah, I'll just tell them, go talk to them over there. That's not all women are like that. But he had the right to tell anybody who calls into his show. He had the right to say that to them. They got what they deserved. But I'm just pointing it out to you if you find your way to hear that it's bullshit. Okay? You need to, if you have a personal life that you care about, there's more to this than just some acronyms, right? And it's usually all in between the lines. It's not the math that you learned in school. It's not all the exact science that you're trying to bring this down to. It's the nuances. That's where all the wisdom lies. All right. So there's more. There's more. Let me try to capture all of the videos. I'm crunching on time.
Touch
'cause I
the
wanna make
third rail,
sure-
but it's true.
But
I want to make sure I don't waste your time. So
don't touch the third rail, but it's true.
But a man could get with a woman and motivate her to do everything she needs to do to become fit, to become cooperative. If a man is, how can you say, motivating a woman properly, I believe, and if that woman is motivating that man properly, I believe we both have the missing components to what the other needs. I think the problem is what we're going out there and looking for is people who are strong in the ways that we are strong.
Okay.
A lot of
that's literally what he was. Maybe he didn't intend to do that because I've heard him say some things that make sense a lot, actually. That's literally what a lot of people get out of him. They're looking for people who are exactly, who think the way they are. And it doesn't work like that. I've been married for 15 years. Okay? By the grace of God, successfully. That's not the way it works. You're not looking for a person who is like you. That's okay? That never works. It doesn't exist. You're looking for people that are not like you that can complement you. It's the other way around. Yes, compatibility can be a thing, but a lot of time is a function of how you are as a person, how your partner is. Have you worked on yourself? If you haven't done that, and the rhetorics that they're pushing here in the name of we're just trying to build a community is to tell people to keep looking for people like them that have the same ideologies. So now they have people pandering to their talking points, the pick-me's, but they still can't marry them. And they're wondering, how come you can just marry each other? Because it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. Okay? Let me play. Let's hear his response to that.
But what I also think about, you said, how'd you say it? You think a man can motivate a woman to do or be X, Y, Z.
Yes. And vice versa.
And vice versa.
Yes.
But what's missing from that calculus is, let's take it out of relationship. You got excellent credit rating and a lot of money. You're not gonna go buy a car that you got to do repair on when you can buy a Bentley off the lot.
All right, so you just compared human beings to Bentley and calculus. That's already a fail instantly. That's a fail. You cannot make any argument with regards to people's emotions, people's emotional beings, emotional life, things that are driven by literally 99% emotions with comparison to calculus. It doesn't work. I'm an engineer by trade. It doesn't work, okay? You're effectively discounting the biggest variable, which is emotions. And that's why that doesn't work, okay?
Basically, if you have the money and the credit rating to afford a Bentley, you're not going to go get a car you got to repair. And we've told women that men should accept men who go out here.
Men don't have to accept shit. If you don't like it, you keep it moving. What we don't want to accept from men, me as a man, what I don't want to accept from a man is complaining and bitching. Like, you know what? That's what I'm not going to accept, okay? You get to decide to sit in a situation that you don't like or you leave. You always have that option. That's calculus, okay? You don't have to accept what you don't like, ever, as an individual. Now, what I don't like is when you cap and say you're trying to save the community and you start to blanket everybody into the same thing because some people like something different. They just do. That's the reality. The world that we live in will continue to evolve. There's no way around it. All right? Sorry, Mr. Samuels. Late Mr. Samuels. Sorry.
It's true. And they know it's true. And I have so many men of all stripes who are like, thank you for telling the truth. Please tell it. Because men have been so coward and so... Because it's true.
Why did I play this little clip here? Because it's true. He's not wrong about being true. All right? But a lot of people are going to be speaking their own version of truth and facts, and they're going to be single for a long time. When they actually want companionship. Listen, the truth varies. It goes from one extreme to the other because people have their experience and they have filters on. And what they call the truth is basically a function of their filters. And that's what I hear. You have two people arguing effectively and telling themselves, I'm speaking the truth. You're speaking the truth. No, I'm the truth. I'm the truth. And then you end up in somebody is telling some kind of lies. Maybe it's not both of them. Maybe it's the devil telling them the lies, both of them, right? So anytime I hear people say it's the truth, I look at them sideways now.
Use it as though they have known it all their lives, but that's what we do here. Okay, here we are. Kevin and I are often labeled as misogynists, when in fact we are headed toward an emphatic era of misandry.
Yeah, we damn sure didn't have that. I don't think most women realize they don't like men.
Yeah.
I didn't realize women hated men so much.
Yeah,
This is
because
crazy.
I mean, their experiences, they internalize their trauma,
Or the
from
father,
dealing
or their
with
father,
brother.
Yeah.
A lot of women are
daddy,
internalizing
uncle.
stories that they just heard.
That's true. There's some topics, there are some particular case studies, case by case, where I could definitely say that a lot of women do that. I mean, you could go on Clubhouse, you could go on Twitter Space, you could see a lot of people actively spewing hateful comments about men. But guess what? I've seen that on the other side too. So I'm forced to bring this down to individual by individual level. If you're a hateful person, I'll tell you you're hateful with your rhetorics. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I have to bring, since it's happening on both sides, calculus, Mr. Samuels, they cancel each other out. We have to bring it down to the individuals by individuals because at the end of the day, that's the cornerstone of everything. The community is built out of individuals. So if you're busy generalizing and a bunch of panderers are in your comment and they're just saying yes, yes, to hell with all these women, and when they go to what's her name, Auntie G, Mrs. G or something like that, the women are doing the same thing. They say yeah, to hell the man has come, right? It cancels each other out. It's always been there. Gender war has always been there. The only difference right now is the society combined together with social media. That's newsflash for a lot of you. Has always been there. Every group of people has always had some kind of other haters coming from the other side, either man to man, religion to religion, culture to culture. Don't let anyone paint this as something brand new to you and then radicalize you into some bullshit because you had a bad experience. Some girl dumped you in high school. Don't let anyone radicalize you. It's always been there. You need to work on yourself so you can create better results for yourself. That's the only bottom line here because you just become another random crazy school cuckoo on the streets who's been radicalized by some guru on the internet. You have to be careful what you're listening to out there. I'm not hating on them. I'm just telling you, guess what? The truth. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
I don't know. Like, does it exist? I hope so. Uh, uh, shit, hell, at this point, I take a chick that's ready to settle, but she still got to come back for the butt naked. But I know sometimes I feel like it don't exist. Um, and it's just me being, you know what I'm saying, honest and transparent. I
Why?
think it
Why?
because I see it work out very in so few situations. Like you don't I don't see so many quests. I don't see so many Antons. Um and no matter how much shit I talk to that nigga Anton, I mean, I'm always give him respect on, you know what I'm saying, his whole relationship. The
That's
same
why
way
I,
I give Quest the respect on their relationship. Like I
that's
said,
why I conceded when I heard when Anton said 18 years. That's why I conceded. Hey, my brother, salute. My
yeah,
bad. I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah. And that's just truly what it is.
You gotta love logic. All right. So maybe anyway. So let me see what they're talking about. First of all, let's just see here. 1 second. So they're talking about. Let's see. Let's see. No, not like that. Trying to read what they. Oh, okay. Let me go. There you go. The question was, I got me a good one. Does it exist? Or are women just ready to settle? Okay, you know what? Actually, I'm understanding that question for the first time. Obviously, I watched this before. I take a clip before I talk about it, right? But I actually just caught that right there. So I got me a good one. Does it exist? Like, are women ever good? Or that woman is just ready to settle? Hmm. And he goes, he never really believed that such thing exists. But then he respects the Antons and the quests. All right. All right. So here's the deal. Okay. It's a lot more complex than that. Again, what I hate about this kind of rhetoric and this kind of talks is that it gives false expectations to people that are trying to get this right. Okay. That this thing can just be some kind of exact science, 1 and 0, 1 plus 1 equals to 2, and this is the formula. There is a formula, but if that formula does not contain a good amount of case studies where we can learn the nuances, the in betweens, it's not a formula for marriage or relationships with between human beings. Okay, human beings are complex. We're complex beings. It's not as simple. Anybody that brings it that try to make it simple is because they're a square, and they're projecting heavily on the other people. They think since they're a square, they believe other people should be squares like them. So they calculate everything like it's math in their head. Okay, and the sad truth, okay, yes, truth, let's call it reality, is that human beings are complex. And I'll tell you why that's a good thing. That's a good thing because it makes you, if you understand that, it makes you highly competitive in this marketplace. Yes, it's a marketplace still because there are people involved, right? But the marketplace is not exactly the marketplace. They all say marketplace like you're in a marketplace of 7 billion people. No, you're in a marketplace of your circle. Your circle, the people you, we're not talking about people that you could go straight 6 months and you don't see them. Those people are not in your circle. You can't do your math or your calculations of wisdom based on people that are not in your circle. It doesn't work. The people that are in your circle are a reflection of who you are. There's some kind of value you're getting from them being around. Even though as human beings we try to cap and act like, oh yeah, it's just what it is. I'm never influenced. Yes, we all get influenced. Not only do we get influenced, you influence other people around you. But there's something comfortable about you guys being around each other. And that's the reality. Okay? So when they start talking like this, it gives false expectations, right? It's not as simple as, oh, I got me a good one, or she just settled. No, she's very smart, if not smarter. It's just not relevant to romantic relationship. As smart as she is, she could go become a VP at work or anything like that. When she comes home to her husband, she wants to be a woman, right? She wants to feel like she can trust the world. relax, sleep, and she want to feel safe and secured, right? That's the bottom line, right? So that's not relevant to that she's a smart human being. She could be a smart human being. So if she's ready to settle, she's ready to settle. It's not just women though. I know we're talking about just men, and we're not supposed to bring in women. No, fuck that. It's not just women. It's both men and women. They settle when they're ready to settle. When they're ready doesn't mean when they deliberately get ready. Sometimes there's work that needs to be done inside and out before a person can attract the right type of energy to make life what they desire. Okay? Some of us are not ready. You want to become a millionaire, you're not ready. You may be working hard for the last 10 years, you're not ready to become one. It won't happen. It's not because you don't want to be ready. You start your path, your own journey, you're just not ready. You're just not ready. Okay. So it's very important to point these nuances out as opposed to say, oh, yeah, just answer the question yes or no. Is she just ready or you found you a good one? Two things can be true at the same time. Oh, to Anton's credit, he's always said that two things can be true at the same time. She could be ready right now. You could also find you a good one. As a matter of fact, you could have a good one in your hands right now. She's not ready. And you will see that things don't fall in line because she's not ready. But if you're patient, you may end up pulling the best out of her because that's actually what the scripture says in Ephesians 5:26, not 25, the one that y'all like to quote, but go to 26. It talks about you being the cleanser, you cleanser of the dirt, just like Christ did to the church, right? Because of the way you move. It's not just men to women. Sometimes being around the right people will rub off good on you. And then your life can start changing in the right direction because you're inspired for being around the right people. Again, we're very complex. You can't stop attempting. For every time you attempt to bring this down to exact science, like a square, I'll pull you back and say, no, stop putting yourself on a pedestal. You're human like the rest of us. You're not that perfect. You're not even perfect at all, right? Like the rest of us, right? In fact, the best thing you can do to win in life, in romance, and in life is to relax and let the beautiful, beautiful feminine energy of this world, the chaotic, beautiful energy of this chaos of this world, learn how to navigate it to create the result you're looking for. Stop trying to make everyone into a square. It doesn't exist. Even yourself, if we dig in a little bit deeper, there's flaws in your life. There are ways that you're not perfect. And the moment you accept that, you notice that you're not able to see clearly and then navigate the chaos that we have in this life to create the result you're looking for as opposed to barking at everyone. Because anyway, that's not going to work anyway. You just stay on the internet barking like everything else, right? Patience is everything. Thank you, my sister. Patient people are not patient. You know, no, you don't have to stay single. Just work on yourself. If you work on yourself, he will find you. Okay. Oh, this is the part where they say we're encouraging women to not. No, 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 bullshit. The only thing you can do, the only thing you can control, either a man or woman, is to work on yourself. There are literally billions of people out there when it's time it to happen. If you focus on you working on yourself, if you're still asking questions that no, it must be the fault of someone else, well, that's just that much energy you're wasting on the wrong direction, and that much more time you're wasting away from the person that's actually going to give you that fulfilling love and connection lifestyle that you're looking for. You know, so no, staying single is not really an option once you're ready. Just Jay, okay? You don't really get to decide that, okay? Again, we don't control as much as we would think we're controlling. We don't. We just don't. That's just the fact of the matter. I'm sorry. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
oftentimes is created by the white supremacists. And because the Negro mind oftentimes is created by the white supremacists. And anything negative that happens in black society, it can be attributed to the white supremacists because they created the circumstances in which we were forced to live in. Don't ever let the white supremacists try to get away with blaming black folks. Oh, it's your culture. Oh, it's just who you are, your culture. You have become a part of our culture because of the subjugation you've inflicted upon us. If there's anything negative in black society, the white supremacists are 100% to blame for it. Because when we do better, you sabotage us every single time without any exception. Every single time we start to thrive and do better, the white supremacists come along and they snatch the rug from under us.
I don't know how to feel about this clip right here. This is Tariq Nasheed talking about white supremacy and the state of the Negro's mind. You know, before I run my mouth, let's first of all see what does Negro mean in real life. You know, because now somebody's gonna tell me that black means something else and African American means something else entirely. Let's see what Google says, the almighty Google, right? The almighty Google says a member of a dark-skinned group of peoples originally native to African south of the Sahara. South of the Sahara. So let's see what the Sahara is. Just to make sure we're on the same page here. The Sahara. So this is the, okay. All right. Dark-skinned people. All right, this is as real as it gets. Let me see. All right, so this is the map of Africa towards the northern side. This is Nigeria, which I'm from, on the corner right here. All right, so Sahara Desert is over here. They tend to be light-skinned and curly hair. They're like, you know, there's a lot of features that make them, you would think they're from the Middle East, like in the corner over here, like the Egyptians and stuff like that. But south of this, everyone tends to be dark-skinned. Okay, now let me go back here. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. All right. So
oftentimes,
so that's the Negro mind. So the person controlling the mind of the Negro mind, is it a person or is it a system? You know, there's something I try to tell people all the time. The white supremacy in 2022, you have to look at it as a system. Because by the way, we already do that. Okay. But you have to be a little bit more intentional about it, right? Where do you do that? Because if your kids go to school with white kids, you know, they're not over there and say, oh, you're my enemy with those white kids, right? White people and white supremacy are two different things in 2022. One is a system, at least if you want to have a productive conversation, that I'm guessing you want to use to uplift people, right? Not to beat people down, not to create division. Right? I'm not accusing him of division, but he's effectively doing that if he doesn't realize that. Just like Kevin Samuels, there's a lot of these gurus, they create division and they're willing to do that. Maybe the cost of the fight of the struggle is worth that much to them. I can't blame them for that because my people, Africans, also have a fight that they're fighting that sometimes they deem fit like, hey, screw other people. We're fighting for our own struggles. I can respect that. But nonetheless, they're creating division. If there's a group of people, it's happening in South Africa. The xenophobia thing is real. There's a group of people, right? But when you go down there and you travel down there and you talk to people, you don't see these things. It's just the loudest people on the internet, the loudest people with the power of the media, political power and things like that, political rhetorics and narratives, they tend to be louder. But regular you and I, we don't have these problems. I just want you to be aware of that, right? So it's not that deep, but let's have the conversation nonetheless. White supremacy is responsible for the Negro mind. I agree, but I disagree. Okay? I agree, but I disagree. And I'll tell you why. So let's play that video again. And then let's dissect
it's created by the white supremacists. And because the Negro mind oftentimes is created by the white supremacists.
Okay, so I noticed that he was picking his words carefully. You know, he talks like that, but he was speaking and he said he now used oftentimes. The oftentimes part is very important, right? The Negro mind is created oftentimes by the white supremacy. All right. At a grand macro scale level, he may be correct. At the individual level, I'll push back a little bit, okay? The experiences we have create what our mind is. Now, part of that experience is obviously the experience that we've had because of white supremacy over decades and thousands of years, right? The suppression and all of that. Now, the part that I don't like about a lot of these narratives is because there's no place in the conversation where we can re-engage the power that we truly have as a people. I feel, I could be wrong, I'm picking my words carefully. I feel we may just be playing victim continually over and over. That doesn't mean we're not victims. Again, there's a difference between you're a victim or you're continue to play the victim, right? Nonetheless, somebody's going to hear that and say I'm victim shaming. I'm just saying, being a victim or playing a victim and engaging power, they can't coexist. It's just impossible, literally. Okay? It's just impossible. So, as much as we spell out white supremacy and say, hey, this system is not helping us, what part of that conversation are we engaging our power? Now, he's speaking to the shooting, okay? The shooting happened to be a bunch of, it's a community of Hispanic people, actually. That doesn't make it any less anything. I'm just saying, right? But a lot of people are talking out of their ass before they actually pay attention to the details of who Salvatore, I think his name is Salvatore. Let me find him here. Salvatore, yeah, I found him actually. Of who this guy is, the guy that shot up the whole place, right? These were the rifles. He was a loner who bought 2 assault rifles for his 18th year birthday. This is the reality of what we're doing. Loner. Now, for what I have seen, I don't care what you say, my personal opinion, what I have seen in the manosphere, after watching for like a whole year, there's a lot of these loners in the comment areas. I'm sorry. All right. Incels. There's nothing wrong about being an incel, but when we incite them with anger and hate, everything is wrong with that. All types of wrong can come out of that. And I'm telling y'all right now, we need to start paying attention to that. We have to start paying attention to that, okay? All right. Salvatore Ramos was identified as the gunman who stormed into with an assault rifle and tactical vest, barricaded himself, a loner, socially awkward kids, mental disease, mental health, a criminal nonetheless. I want to be clear on that. I just want to make sure I'm clear on that, right? So again, it's crazy what's going on out here. Everyone has a mic. People that have no intentions to change the community, they just want to build up a fan base. Everyone is yelling at the top of their lungs with a microphone, but they're effectively affecting other people's life, children's life, right? Indirectly and directly. We got to pay attention to the right conversation. I don't think like white supremacy is a part of this conversation, but in terms of inciting little kids, because the stuff that happened in Buffalo, New York was basically a racism incited situation as well, right? So,
and anything negative that happens in black society, it can be attributed to the white supremacists because they created the.
Watch his words carefully. He said it can be attributed. He didn't say it is attributed. He said it can be. Anytime people are using words like it can be, often at times and stuff like that, you need to not take their words as the absolute truth. It means you should pay attention. However, you should do your own research. Do your own research because again, they're very powerful words. You can see Donald Trump using them. You can see anybody that has ever climbed the stage to build a community. They use all of these words that builds a community out of just theory. White supremacy is not a theory, it's a reality. I'm just saying how we engage our power and get to the other side that we're trying to get to. Um, it's gonna become more and more complex because I feel like we're not helping ourselves. We're not talking about how we can engage our power. We're talking more so about how we're victims. We're spending a lot of time on that. I understand, but not really, because we're still a people, and I would hate that we continue to be a conquered people when in fact we can engage certain types of power and change all of that narrative. So yeah, that's something it's a little tricky for me, because I'm being careful too, because this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people. Politics, religion, people's background, racism, all this kind of stuff are sensitive, but we have to talk about it. We do. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
My conclusion is I've been in this space for a while now, and the guys rag on simps all the time. They don't like them, they're against them, but then they want me to be with them. So it doesn't make any sense to me. You talk down on simps all day long, and when I say I don't want to be with one, it's a problem. And that's all I have to say.
That is a fair point. That is a fair point. All right, y'all. We are getting out of here.
All right, that's Bernard Riley again. Not so quick, Bernard. Not so quick. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. No. Not so fast, bro. She said something, and we have to kind of like break that down, okay? She said, you don't like simps. You don't want the existence of simps, okay? But she wants to be with a simp. But you got a problem with that. Now, to be fair to him, he was rounding up the show, okay? So I think he was basically looking forward to rounding up the show. It was getting last points. But she made a good point that I felt like, you know what, we could talk about, why is it that you hate simps, but you don't want her to get with a simp? I'll explain that to you in a second here. I'll explain that to you. Let me see something here. There's the simp thing. I felt like there's like 33 different usage of the word simp that I have seen, right? Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it here. I was collecting at one point. About 33 at last time I stopped. Okay, 33 of them. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it. But she made a good point. What is the issue with, what's the beef with the simps? Or are you the simp? Right? Maybe you're the simp. Right? Let's talk about it. She said, you don't like the simps, but you don't want me to be one. Now, personally, I don't think any woman wants to be with a simp. Personally, I think most women are not attracted to the real simps. But that's actually the problem that we're talking about here. We have a lot of angry people on the internet who are the real simps, and women despise them, not actively, but in very passive ways. Basically, they don't get none, okay? They call them the incels, the involuntary celibates, meaning they are celibates not by choice. Just simply put, no one is willing to give them the box, all right? That's the reality. They are the actual simps because they actually try to compensate for that with money, with being nice. And the more they do that, the farther away the box is from them, right? So they happen to be the real simps. So they turn to the internet. Somebody told them that dude was seemingly, is taking care of a girl, but also get the box. It's the simp. And then they buy into that ideology. Now they start calling them the simp, right? And then when this girl comes on the stage and say, but that's the guy I want. They're like, oh, because he spent money for it? No, not because he spent money for it, but that's the guy I want. And then they say, no, that's a simp. All the simps are talking or pandering to women, right? That's what she's talking about. So let me play that video one more time. Okay.
My conclusion is I've been in this space for a while now, and the guys rag on simps all the time. They don't like them. They're against them.
They gang up on Sims all the time. I don't see that actually. Because I'm in this space and I talk to people, I get on panels once in a while. I don't see that they necessarily gang up on Sims. They are barking. You know what they say about hit dog holler, right? They're doing that. But typically, they are actually the Sims. So I don't see them barking at each other. So I'm not sure that you can say they're gang. Now, if you're talking about the Pookie and the Ray Rays, yeah, the Tyrons, right? Are they ganging up on those guys? Not really, because those ones don't care either. Uh, those ones are ending up, they don't even know the existence. Many of them don't know, they have no idea the manosphere exists. Okay? Just, if you don't believe me, just be like me. Go bet with somebody in your family and say, hey, do you know who Kevin Samuel is? There's a very good chance you will lose money. Okay? How do I know? I'm speaking from experience. Just yesterday, I was at dinner with my wife and her sister, my sister-in-law, and we talked about Tariq Nasheed and a lot of the black rhetorics online and stuff like that. And I mentioned Tariq Nasheed's name, and she was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Oh, it's one of those guys that talk about, black community issues and stuff like that, like Omar Johnson, Dr. Omar Johnson, all those people, right?" And she was like, "She's a professional, like, professional executive at, a big company, And then she goes, well, I'm about to text my friend. I know the friend. And I'm about to text my friend right now. They don't know who this person is. Like, they don't know. I was like, they know who Tariq Nasheed is. I was like, they know Tariq Nasheed because they're black Americans. And she said, I'm about to text right now. I said, go ahead and text. Actually, I got $20 on the line. I said, I got $20 on the line. If they know who this person is, you owe me 20. If they don't, I owe you 20. Guess what? I lost $20 because they don't know who the hell these people are. Why did I share that with you? I'm sharing that with you so you can know that, hey, if you take a lot of time on YouTube in this space and you're listening to a lot of these rhetorics and they're creating a stamp in your heart like this is the real world, no, it is not. I don't care which one of them has a million subscribers. It is not, okay? There are people with much more bigger subscriber base. They're still not mainstream. Okay, I'll give you an example right now. Mr. Beast, right? Mr. Beast, who is a YouTuber. Let me see, Mr. Beast. Last time I checked, I'm about to check right now, right in front of you. Let's see how many subscribers he has. Mr. Beast. Oh, there you go. Let me show you. Let me show you real life. This is Mr. Beast, and I don't think he's the biggest YouTuber either. Okay, let me show you. Mr. Beast has, what is that? Almost 100 million subscribers. Let's put things in perspective, right? Right? Almost a million subscriber, 95.8 million subscribers. It's still not mainstream. There are people that don't know what the hell that is, right? So somebody has 500,000 subscribers or they have their own little 20,000 subscribers. I got 368 here, 367, something like that. On the other channel, we have 430 something. I got 3,000 on my real estate. Nothing. 95.8 million subscribers. Still not mainstream. Okay. So again, when you hear some of this rhetorics and all this craziness and people take some of this talking point and then try to turn it to the truth, whatever they want to call it.
But then they want.
All right. So the bottom line is that even the word simp, nobody knows what that is for the most part. Okay. But when you end up in this space because you searched a string like how to find a husband, how to find a girlfriend, how to get my girlfriend back, you end up in this little space and you start to overwatch it and you feel like it's the truth. It is not. The real world is still the real world, okay? That doesn't mean you can't learn some kind of lessons here. It doesn't mean you can't learn something, but I just want you to be careful on trying to apply a few people rhetorics and narratives to the real world. you may just end up falling flat on your face. I don't want you to have to experience that. Okay. So the delusion in those spaces is heavy. That's what she's talking about, right? They don't want you to be with a simp, but they're angry with the simp. When you want to be with one, but they're angry. Again, make up your mind. They're just a bunch of confused people all over the place. If you need real answers, ask a real person, not a face on a YouTube. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
Right. Have always been like, yo, real damn, how you find that one? Damn. See, all y'all niggas that be sitting on, it's hard, and that I've never had that issue. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
You pussy ass nigga. Oh, man.
But this the same shit Anton be talking about.
I'm sorry, I ain't mean to call you a pussy.
No. I'm cool with being a pussy ass nigga. Listen, man. Listen.
Man, nigga, you quit taking shots at me.
Cool. No,
Yeah.
I ain't taking shots at you. No, I'm
God damn.
I'm gonna be all types of pussy ass niggas. I'm gonna fade to black. I'm gonna be a beta simp, host stud. I'm gonna give you all this vagina monologue. I'm gonna cheddar bob myself. And when you done with all that, what I'm saying is, damn it, JR.
That's Rilla right there. Go back. Laying down. And he's about to turn over with the knees in the air.
Oh, yeah. I gotta lay over on my stomach though. I'm definitely gonna wear all white in Atlanta, but I gotta turn over.
All right. So again, they're still talking about you found you a good one. Is that a real thing or settled, right? And again, when we talk too much, we miss the line. When we start talking too much, we miss the line. Like I said earlier, it's complex. It's not that simple. You can find a real good one, and it could also, in the same breath, in the same context, she's just ready, right? So she could have been the right one all along. She could have been a good one all along. But here's the part that I really wanted to bring out here. When you spend a lot of time in a space that follows one narrative, I'm not talking about even if it's positive or negative right now. You start to see the world like that, right? That becomes the filter that you see the world with, right? Just a few minutes before I jumped on to come and do the session, I saw a gentleman went on the Star Report. Star is one half of legendary Star and Buckwide radio show in New York City. And he was on there defending Kevin Samuels with his whole chest. Just like a lot of people have been doing without even knowing this man personally, right? We've seen that majority of people that claim to know him, they didn't really know him, right? Quite a few people have been dragging them on the internet for accusing them of not showing up to the funeral, right? The whole world is a very small place, including Hoshe Duke Jackson, who is in Africa. If you really want to make it to the funeral, you would make it to the funeral, unless it's exactly what we suspected. Y'all don't know each other like that, right? So again, it is what it is. That's fine. I'm just saying, these things are a lot more complex, right? It's not as simple as these conversations. Now, what was funny to me is that people actually, this was a demonstration of people picking who they want to get an advice from, right? Rilla saying, I have experience. I have 2 kids, except that I would like Rilla to stop talking about his ex. He has the experience. He has the right to say what he wants, but what I can promise you is that you will create negative effects in your personal life if you keep talking publicly about the mother of your kids in a negative light. That's a fact of life. Okay? Even Kevin Samuels never talked. He noticed he never talked about his ex-wife, or his child. He never did. It's one of the reasons why I give him some respect. He never did. But some people are very quick to jump into, my situation. If it's negative, you don't have to say anything about it. If it's your personal life, if it's the mother of your kids, if it's your kids, if it's negative, you are actively protecting yourself if you choose not to speak negatively about them. If it's positive, sure. But even at that, I'll be careful. Because people don't give a shit. They don't. So, yeah, that's
a single.
Let me play it, okay?
Have always been like, yo, real damn, how you find that one? Damn. See, all y'all niggas that be sitting on, it's hard, and that I've never had that issue.
So it's true. Some people I've approached and said, yeah, they even say it in this space. They say, hey, you're lucky because you found you a good one. They say that. I'll say some people say that. However, I don't think we have a shortage of people that say, yeah, fuck all that. Only simps can maintain a marriage. We've heard that before. The second Godfather, what's his name? Coach Greg said that. Like only simps can maintain. You have to be a simp to maintain a marriage. Something that I know for a fact is direct opposite. The truth is actually you flip it on the other side. People that can't maintain a marriage are the simps because they usually, for the most part, because they were competing with a woman. They don't know their space as a king in their own castle. That's usually what causes. I'm just being honest with you. Am I saying there are no bad people out here on the street, bad women? No, I'm not saying that. I said for the most part, it's because they were simps. Okay, it's because they had unrealistic expectations. It's because they felt entitled because they loved the person. They couldn't accept anything short of exact carbon copy reciprocation of that same type of love. Okay, it's the direct opposite. It takes a lot to be in a space where you can say I can, a lot of failures, right? But a whole lot of wins that we chose to put focus on. Most people in any marriage actually have a lot more wins than failure, but because failure is negative, they put focus on that, and anything you focus on will expand in your mind, and then it can take over and destroy the relationship you care about. This is absolutely always 100% true. I said 100%, with the exception of a few bad people that we know on the streets. Most of you don't even know what a real bad person is. Do you know Hitler? Do you know a Hitler, like a person who would just run up into a school and shoot up? Do you know anybody personally? No, you don't. So stop capping like people around you are just bad. These are just people, you included, that don't know how to maintain relationships because you're caught up in what you want. Selfish, right? You don't know how to draw a balance between selfish and selfless because you need self love. You're not asking questions. You don't ask questions. You have your own thing in your brain, your own little common sense thing. I always tell people common sense is a terrible guide to life because it makes sense to you. It must make sense to the other person. When it doesn't make sense to the other person, they become your enemy, even if they're your wife or your husband. That's what's creating these problems. Let's not cap.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
It said your vibe attracts your tribe. And guess what Logic decided to do in that moment of time? Now, he's joking. Granted, he's joking around, okay? But some people don't know when you're joking around. In fact, some people that are joking around, they don't know when they're joking around. Like they have to tell face, like, wait, let me tell myself, I'm joking. They're confused because, lies that goes long enough or far enough will become truth. That's why I laugh at people that say that's the truth. Now, little do you know that lies goes interchangeably with truth a lot of time. Why? Because of us, because we're flawed human beings. We're flawed beings as human beings, okay?
You pussy ass nigga. Oh, man.
He laughed at him. He called him a pussy ass nigga because he said your vibe attracts your tribe. That does sound a little corny, but it's absolutely correct. It does come off a little corny, but it's absolutely correct. Vibe attracts your tribe. All right. I felt like I expected something corny like that from Anton. But oh well.
But this the same shit Anton be talking about.
I'm sorry.
I knew it.
I me to call you a pussy.
No. I'm cool with being a pussy ass nigga. Listen, man. Listen.
Man, nigga, you quit taking shots at me.
Cool. No,
Yeah.
I ain't taking shots at you. No, I'm
God damn.
I'm be all types of pussy ass niggas. I'm gonna fade to black. I'm gonna be a beta simp, host stud. I'm gonna give you all this vagina monologue. I'm gonna chat about myself. And when you done with all that, what I'm saying is, damn it, JR.
That's Rilla right there. Go back. Laying down. And we're about to turn over with the knees in the air.
Oh, yeah. I gotta lay over on my stomach. Though. I'm definitely gonna wear all white in Atlanta, but I gotta turn over.
And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
Or saying that the husband is a simp because, he used to let her go. She would say she was going for 4 or 5 days with Lil Wayne or Bow Wow. He would open her. He would welcome back with open arms, run her bath water and stuff like that. It sounds like she has a good arrangement, right? But in reality, she doesn't. Want to know why? Because she has a guy that she doesn't respect. A man who doesn't respect himself. And at any given moment, if Lil Wayne wanted to marry her, she would have divorced the guy. He knew that. Bow Wow wanted to marry her. She would have divorced the guy because she respected him. That's the issue, guys. No respect for the guy at all. Want to know why? No respect for himself. That's the reason why the guy is really a simp. Okay? The first thing is that no one's talking about is that she could not do any better than him. You mean to tell me that if you're
All right, so we're talking about O'Shea, Duke Jackson, and Superhead here. So O'Shea, let me show him your page. Shout out to O'Shea. He came here and showed some love one day like that. Yeah, that's his platform right there. But I disagree with him on this video. I disagree with a lot of this shit anyway. But I also agree with a lot of the stuff. To me, he makes a lot more sense than a lot of the lame people on Manosphere. To be honest, and I think a lot of that I can attribute it to at least he knows how to throw banter and not be so serious. Like it's not that deep for him, right? And that's a big part of game. It's a big part of life. Like if you're able to do that, that means people are able to feel good around you, even if you're wrong. See, what a lot of things that people don't understand is that this right and wrong thing has very little weight on the outcome of our lives. Now, when it comes to building institutions and building businesses, right? There's of course, right and wrong is necessary. You have to, we call it standards, right? You create standards like American standard or something, right? So you have right and wrong, right? So that we can know what we're doing. But when it comes to interpersonal relationship, interpersonal skills, soft skills, right? All that right and wrong stuff goes out the window. Is how you make people feel around you. That's the bottom line. I know some of you don't want to hear that. In fact, that's exactly what created your sense of expectations and entitlement. That's precisely why you're a simp, because you have unrealistic expectations on human beings. And when they tell you or show you the truth, the actual truth, the result you're creating, right? In terms of how you attract them, you're like, no, that's not the truth. You have a hard time receiving the truth. Effectively being a simp. You're overpaying, overcompensating for somebody that's now reciprocating the way you like, and you're angry, more importantly, at yourself. Okay? So that's what that is, right? The unrealistic expectation. But I digress. Okay. So again, back to this conversation. So O'Shea Duke Jackson, he does this celebrity type of he call it celebrity junk, where he talks about celebrities and stuff like that.
or saying that the husband is a simp.
This time around, he's talking about Superhead. Superhead I don't know, once upon a time came out with a book, a tell-all book, something of the diary of the vixen. Basically, she slept with the whole entertainment industry. Chris Brown, Diddy, Jay Z, this guy right here who was a child star, I forgot his name now. Um, Bow Wow, Little Wayne, stuff like that. And this girl came out and basically said, while she was married to one of these people, right? While she was married to one of these people, she was seeing Lil Wayne and Bow Wow at the same time. So she was on the platform telling all that story. But as usual, the manosphere, including old shade Duke Jackson, that's what he does anyway, overreacted to it. Okay? Just another woman who's for the streets who must react to everything. Content creation, undefeated. I get it. Everyone's trying to create content and get some views. I completely get it, right? But again, I can hear the truth, your own truth coming out of that. I can hear that you're serious, that this is deep for you, that you can relate, right? Not particularly O'Shea Duke Jackson, because there were many other people who talked about this, right? But I guess this was he's talking their talking point, and I disagree with the talking point. So I want to play that video again, and I'm going to dissect it one after the other, and let's talk more about it.
Because people are saying that the husband is a simp because, he used to let her go. She would say she was going for 4 or 5 days with Lil Wayne or Bow Wow. He would open her. He would welcome back with open.
So we don't know if it's a simp or not. Your definition of simp in this case is that somebody is in a relationship where they allow their wife to do whatever they want. See, again, you're telling me more that you're a simp because you haven't realized that there's all types of relationship, and it's always been that way. It's just a lot more louder now because of the internet, right? They've always been the Hugh Hefner, right? People who practices unconventional forms of relationships. They've always been out there since the beginning of mankind. What do you think the story Sodom and Gomorrah was in the Bible? What do you think that was? Is it Sodom and Gomorrah, right? It's always people with unconventional ways of expressing sexuality have always existed. Sometimes they marry each other and they will say, hey, it's open marriage and stuff like that. Is it still weird to me? Yes. But I'm not delusional that it's always existed. It sounds to me that you didn't realize this always existed. That's why you turn around and you call someone you don't know a simp. A simp, based off of what you've told me, means a guy who is paying and giving all of this attention and money and resources to a girl who is not reciprocating. What does that definition have to do with this? Nothing. Number one, because she don't know whoever she's married to or what their agreements were. Number two, because it's obvious, just another opportunity to call out a 304. A 304 that wrote a whole book about being a 304. What is the surprise here again? I don't know. What is the surprise? Anyway.
Harms, run her bath water and stuff like that. It sounds like she has.
So the guy, when she comes back, run her bath water and stuff like that. Again, the story of a girl who is for the street, 304, self-proclaimed. Why would I even believe a word that come out of her mouth, even if it's the truth? Anything that comes out of her mouth to me is entertainment. I don't have to take it on face value. So she said, oh, he runs my hot bath water and that's the agreement, right? You don't know if during that time, this dude had like 3 other girls in the room and they were doing a foursome. You had no idea, but you're just going to speak to it anyway. Another opportunity. You're looking for a Will Smith and Russell Wilson all over the place to call a simp. You don't know these people, you're calling them a simp. It tells me you're a simp. Yes, you too, O'Shea Duke Jackson. I think he's a self-admitted simp, though. He said that too. But I like O'Shea because he doesn't cap. He has 0 caps, and he calls out this man too.
Has a good arrangement, right? But in reality, she doesn't. Want to know why? Because she has a guy that she doesn't respect. A man.
You don't know that. Just because they have this crazy ass lifestyle doesn't mean she doesn't respect him. Okay? Now, respect him as a husband. Maybe we have our own little Proverb 31 type of woman. We're projecting on a complete stranger who is a self-proclaimed 304. Why am I talking about this? It reflects on how you act in society as a man. When men start to worry about other men's business, it makes you weak. Yes. If you put too much energy in worry about other men's business, you're weak. You're weak. You got too much time in your hands and you could do something better. Not O'Shea, but probably more so a lot of the followers that translate this to real life ways of dealing with other human beings.
Man who doesn't respect himself. And at any given moment, if
That's based off of a moral standard. Whose moral standard are we using? Yours, O'Shea Jackson? Well, are we using your moral standard? Or let me guess, the community's moral standard? Who exactly are we fooling here? That's my question. Does the community really have a standard? Or people with unconventional ways of expressing sexuality have always existed? Again, you're telling on yourself if you didn't already do that.
Lil Wayne wanted to marry her, she would have divorced the guy. He knew that. Bow Wow wanted to marry her, she would have divorced the guy because she respected him. That's the...
Not necessarily. You don't understand how attraction works. The moment that dude says, I want to marry you, she probably doesn't want them anymore. You get it? That's how attraction works in reverse. In reverse, the moment, right? The moment that guy says, one of those guys, the side dudes, right? The moment they say, you know what, I like to marry you. For this type of chick especially, she probably will lose that excitement she's getting from sneaking around. If it was sneaking around or just being able to do that, she will lose that excitement. That's the way the brain works. Again, the brain does not work according to calculus, not directly. Not until you factor in the biggest variable, emotions, that you and I have at the end of the day. Okay? No matter how much we try to cap, we all have emotions. How we express it different from one gender to the other, from one people to the other, one type of people to the other. Yes, it varies. But we all have emotions. For as long as you continue to discount that, your calculus will always be off. And this one is off as usual.
issue, guys. No respect for the guy at all.
That's based off of his personal moral standards. And if you know how big this world is, you will stop projecting your own personal moral standard on other people. Because that shit is 100% cap, always, all the time. And it makes you lose focus. And that's why you keep, not you, O'Shea, but everyone else that tend to follow this line. That's why you keep losing. You don't have any proper, you don't have anything close to accurate of being able to read people and understand how people work. Because again, you keep trying to bring everything down to exact science, but then you cap because you surround it based on your own moral standard. And this world is just way too big to be projecting like that. You will always miss it. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
And condescendingly say, well, why don't you guys forgive? Do you guys forgive? Now they keep talking to us about forgiveness, but family, with this tragedy down there in Texas, this white Hispanic male shot up all of these children at a school, and like 21 people shot and killed. Have you heard anybody talking about forgiveness, family? Have you seen any CNN reporter or Fox News reporter or MSNBC reporter running down there in Texas with a camera in those families' faces talking about, do you forgive this white Hispanic male who killed your babies? Do you see any of that? They wouldn't dare do that because they know how disrespectful that is. And they do it to us because they want to be disrespectful. But the situation in Buffalo, like I said, I got some questions about that because, again, the white...
All right, let's talk about this really quickly. So they're doing it to us because they want to be disrespectful. Is that the only reason why they're doing it to us? I want to be very, very careful with this, right? Is that the only reason? They know they won't do it to the white Hispanic because they know it's disrespectful, but yet they do it to us because they know it's disrespectful. This is very important. Again, like I said earlier, this whole shooting thing has become just another tool for people to use to push their own selfish agenda, right? When we have 19 kids deleted just like that, right? Some people are seeing it as opportunity to push political narratives, right? And it's sad because when I see that, it tells me it's like no wonder, it's like no wonder that stuff is still happening because we're not speaking out. We're not speaking out. We're not talking. Right? Earlier I was showing you this. Let me show you again. I was showing you this, the shootings over the years. It's like it's not going to get better. Yeah, they have their own agenda. It's like we've seen a fleet of people who just want to make money, but we've also seen people who wholeheartedly feel the way they feel, but it's not helping either way. It's not helping, right? So look at this, right? Like I showed you, for if you were here earlier, this is as far back as, just look at the growth in 1999. Something happened. 42 dead, whatever this was. What was this? Tampa, Florida, Honolulu, Fort Worth, Texas, Atlanta, Littleton, Colorado. That's crazy, right? And then nothing, 2000, nothing. Well, so I don't know how accurate this is because this is not, well, this is shooting. This is just only shooting, not necessarily not the 2001 September situation, right? September 11. Right, this is just mass shooting. Okay, 7 here. Seems to be all right all through this time. 5, right? 2005, isn't it? 2005, was that the year that Judge Bush came back in? I think so. This was the second term, I think. 17, 9 injured. Right? This is the reality of what we're dealing with, but yet some people think it's really political, right? Of course, we need control. Of course, we need to talk about mental health. Of course, whoever fall victim of not taking care of their own mental health becomes a criminal. They should be punished for life. Like I said earlier, we can still have all of these different conversations without making it another political agenda. This is real. Now, I'm telling you, normal people, that this is real because, again, when people have power, they misuse it. Even simply the power of the microphone, they misuse it. They start pushing an agenda. How much more people in the government house, people on Capitol Hill, right? How much more? They have they have great power. I won't take anything past them, but just numbers. Very important. So anyway, let me play this one more time. Because there's something I wanted to pull out for you there.
And condescendingly say, well, why don't you guys forgive? Do you guys forgive? Now they keep talking to us.
So he's saying asking people to forgive is disrespectful, right? And asking us as a people to forgive. Yes, I do think that's weird. What do you mean forgive? Forgive what? This is not a personal relationship, right? I agree with that part, right?
About forgiveness, but family, with this tragedy down there in Texas, this white Hispanic male shot up all of these children at a school, like 21 people shot and killed. Have you heard anybody talking about forgiveness, family? Have you seen any CNN reporter or Fox News reporter or MSNBC reporter running down there in Texas with a camera in those families' faces talking about, do you forgive this white Hispanic male who killed?
All right. So 2 things. They said talking about, do you like asking this white Hispanic guy? Right? He intentionally said white Hispanic. He knew exactly what he was doing. Again, this is little micro insightings right here. Okay, Hispanic people or white Hispanic, are they white? Maybe they are. It depends on who is talking. But why did he make it a point to call this white to say white Hispanic as opposed to Hispanic? I'm just asking why, right?
Camera in those families' faces talking about, do you forgive this white Hispanic male who killed your babies? Do you see any of that?
Now, again, he's making points. It's sweet with the music in the background and all that. I get it, right? It's a radio host, whatever, right? But it's bullshit because just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because you didn't see a man running after, again, very weak argument points. Very weak argument points if you have to make a real argument. I see a lot of people running around capping, talking about it's just a debate. You don't know how to debate. It's bullshit. That's not a real debate. What you're talking about are not real debates. Okay? Because, again, they are full of sales message trying to sell an agenda. There's no facts.
They wouldn't dare do that because they know how disrespectful that is. And they do it to us because they want to be disrespectful. But the situation in Buffalo, like I said, I got some questions about that because, again, the white...
And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
Beautiful, you looking good, the same shit other men be doing. Come with something new, like, because there's a lot of men in our DM saying good morning queen, hey beautiful. So that's kind of, it's just the same old, so come with something different, a joke or something. Yeah.
Good morning, Queen. Ain't that some FBA niggas?
That's
the hotel.
like even if they would be like, oh, your toes ugly, I'd be like, really, let me see your toes, like say something a little slick. So yeah, I think that would work on some of these women. I don't know.
Okay, so say something slick. Don't be too obvious. Just say something else that's just off the wall.
Not off the wall, just don't be like all them other men like that, be saying the same thing and be getting ignored, or be sending the same messages 5 and 10 times and getting ignored.
All right, I bet somebody's gonna slide in our DM and say, hey, you got ugly toes. Somebody's gonna actually try that. Oh Lord. Find me a good man, Ola. Just Jay, hit me up on the text message, Yeah. Yeah. All right. So they're talking about, I think they're talking about how shooting your shots in the DM and things like that, right? And of course, we're supposed to not know how it goes because we've been out of the game for a while, so we don't know how this shit works anymore. Since I didn't find my wife on social media, right? Yeah. That's the pushback normally from people that obviously don't want answers. The one there are many people that want answers, by the way, and those ones, they know to ask the right questions. They know to focus on what they want and stop pushing back so hard. Stop being argumentative. Some people just want to be argumentative, They don't really want answers. And it's usually a sign that they haven't hit rock bottom yet. Every one of us, we have to hit rock bottom before we pay attention, or we pay some serious money before we pay attention, right? So, nonetheless, let me play this video again because I felt like she gave some really good points. That's something I can trust about women. They may not be intentionally doing it, but they give gems. They drop, like, if you know how to listen to women, you will get all the tools, all the truth you need to learn how to deal with a woman, you will get it. A woman will say, they will act it if you're paying attention. If you're not able to listen or pay attention, then of course you will always miss it. As a matter of fact, all of that will be basically additional shit tests that you will fail. Because women 100% of the time will shit test you, including your own mother. I'm sorry. It's not deliberate. It's not intentional. It's just, these are the tests that build you as a man. These are the places where you get to build your muscles if you know what you're doing. So let me play it one more time. Let me
Hey, beautiful. You looking good.
She's saying when you slide in the DMs and you said, hey, beautiful, and all this kind of craziness, right? She's saying if you do that, that's lame. Okay? Because everyone else is doing it. Some people literally slide in the DMs and say hi. Hi, what? You're gonna get ignored, ghosted, blocked if you're short, ugly, and fat, especially. I'm sorry, okay? Because again, you lack a good game, right? But the more reason why that is because it's predictable. Everyone else is doing it. Okay? So it doesn't create that oomph effect that you're looking for, right? So just going and saying hi or any version of it, including, let's listen to this.
The same shit other men be doing.
The same shit other men be doing. What is that? It's your responsibility to figure out what other men are doing in the DMs and try not to do them. Okay. Now it depends on what kind of echo chamber you belong into. If you're in your echo chamber and everybody talks about, yeah, I'll let the woman come to me, I'm the prize. Well, all right, good luck with that. Okay. Because that's not how this shit is set up. Okay. But anyway,
come with something new, like, because there's a lot of men in our DM saying good morning, queen.
she said, come with something new. There's a lot of men in her DM saying good morning, queen. All right. So now some of you are gonna be like, oh, just because somebody say good morning, queen, doesn't mean they're trying to holler. So okay, sarcastic. What are you doing in there? What are you doing in the DM if you're gonna say good morning, queen, and you're not trying to holler, right? Oh, you're just trying to do business. You're trying to see if you can get her to allow you to interview her, right? Yeah, but still, she has the right to interpret it how she interprets it, right? Again, even at that, as long as you're looking for some kind of value from her, you need. So see, again, you think this is just about dating or trying to slide in someone's DM to smash or to date. No, it's literally if you're looking for some kind of value from this person, period, you're gonna have to have some kind of. Don't be so predictable. Is the point? Don't be so predictable. Don't be like everybody else. Most people are gonna say hi, hey, right? Now, most people that watch this video are gonna go in her DM and let's keep watching.
Hey, beautiful. So that's kind of, it's just the same old, same old. So come with something different.
Come with something different. This is literally applicable to everything else in life. Be different. Don't be so predictable. Don't be that lame dude that keeps saying the same talking point. Before you say 1, 2 sentences, we can tell you're coming from the manosphere echo chambers. Don't be that dude. It reflects on every areas of your life, including when you slide into DMs, right? Don't be so predictable. Flip it sometimes. Okay? Now she's gonna teach us, give us some tips. Don't go use that tip. That's why again, you need repeated practices, case studies to see how some things work. Ask questions if you're not too clear on what we're saying. But the precise thing I'm saying is that don't be predictable.
I'm a joke or something. Yeah.
Good morning, Queen. Ain't that them FBA niggas?
What is FBA stuff? Come with something new, like, because there's a lot of men in our DM saying good morning. Yeah.
Good morning, Queen. Ain't that them FBA niggas?
What is FBA stuff?
You see, I want you to pay attention to this. You see what logic just did right there, right? It's unpredictable. He's cracking a little joke. He puts a smile on people's face, right? That's the kind of effect you want to create on people. Like logical, he's always wrong, by the way. He's always wrong, right? He could be wrong all day long. If he is ready to relax, it seems like he's too particular. He can find a woman as soon as find a woman, and if he's secured in himself. I don't know him like that. If he's not secured in himself, he may be able to attract a lot of women and not be able to keep them, right? But that moment right there where he threw that little joke in there, not expected. But again, those same words could be used in a way that's corny if it's expected, if it's predictable, right? Even him, after a while, if he's always cracking stupid jokes, it's predictable. It doesn't have that effect you're looking for anymore, right? The point is that be different. Stand out a little bit. You're always competing, either you realize or not. Either you're a man or woman. It really doesn't matter. Okay?
Not ever. That's the whole
Like
tip.
even if they would be like, "Oh, your toes ugly," I'd be like, "Really? Let me see your toes." Like say something a little slick. So yeah, I think that would work on some of these women. I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so say something slick. Don't be too obvious.
I was muted. I was talking about your point that you have a love or hate with logic. I said we all do. Uh, Sometimes it seems like it's making sense and then it just goes left. But yeah.
Just say something else that's just off the wall.
Not off the wall. Just don't be like.
All right. Notice what just happened there. She said be different. And then JR is interpreting that as just say something off the wall. Guess what she said? Not off the wall. You get the gist? Don't be predictable. She actually is already hating that you're turning that to a formula. It's not a formula. Be different. I'll tell you what, something that's different is compliments, right? Compliments. Scroll through the person's page, find something you find interesting that you authentically can relate with. Have a comment about it and send it in the DMs and see if a conversation sparks up from there. If a conversation doesn't spark up from there, she's already looked at your profile. She's not interested, by the way. Right? Very simple. Keep it that simple. It's a numbers game. You do more of that, you'll find what you're looking for. Even a woman can do this. Even women can do this. Because you're not exactly shooting your shots, it's very indirect. But you are. If you are, nonetheless, you're still shooting your shot just in case they catch it, right? If they're interested, they will reciprocate. They say thank you, right? And then they may say something extra, and then you find, you just relate, find a way to relate, right? But again, you're not even gonna get the conversation started if you say something lame like hi, hello, hi queen, good morning queen. It's like good morning, and then they will ignore you right there, right? So again, compliments always work. Some of the basics things always work. But there may be other tools out there that you can use on social media. Generally, I personally prefer organic. Organic doesn't mean you can't shoot your shot. It just means again you're looking for the right opportunities, right timing, right environment, right? Um, you'll be fine if you do enough of it, right? Yeah. Let's see here.
All them other men like that be saying the same thing and be getting ignored, or be sending the same messages 5 and 10 times and getting ignored.
Yeah. They get ignored. A lot of people get ignored and then they come back on the internet and get mad because the box is moving further and further away. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
I'm completely absolved from this conversation because I don't shoot DMs, right? I've never shot a DM to a chick in my life, right? Partially because I'm married, of course, obviously, but I've never shot a DM, right? But on the flip side of that, if you winning and you leveling up, to be honest with you, you ain't got to shoot no DM, bro. Real talk. They'll shoot it to you. They'll literally find you and shoot it to you all day long. All you got to do is continue to do you, continue to ignore them. Don't pay them no attention. The more that you ignore them, the more that they're going to be on your dick. That's just the way it's going to play out every single time. The less you care, the more they're going to be on your dick, bro.
Think about it, Rilla. Any thoughts?
Man, you know, this is a foreign concept for me. I flip flop with this about 3-4 different times. Where
All right. Did you see the cap on the screen? Can you see the cap? No, that's terrible advice, Anton. That's terrible advice all day long. That's terrible advice. Just if you keep your eyes on the bag and ignore them, and then they come to you. And then after you've done that and it doesn't happen, you're not angry at all the 304s, right? Damn. That's cap. That's cap. Now, I need to break it down why it's cap, okay? I need to break it down. The intentions behind your moves, yes, I tend to say intentions are overrated, but nonetheless, intentions are important, right? Um, yeah. I mean, if you're this intentional about this topic, we might as well be intentional, right? So we're not ignorant, right? But I'm gonna have to play the video again so I can dissect what he said one after the other because it's like 20 different thousand advices in one that were just all wrong. Okay, they were all wrong, and they were all wrong not particularly because of what. Actually, it's particularly because of what he's saying, not necessarily the mindset. I get the mindset that he's trying to put there, but it's off because those words are very, very strong words that will actually affect a person's attitude about how they move, right? I get the mindset he's trying to plant there, uh, anything that's readily available will be taken for granted. So remove yourself so you're not taken for granted. That's different from removing yourself and then missing out completely. Like, like you're not even shooting any shots at all, right? That's not good for men in this society that we still live in. That's not good. Men need to learn how to initiate a conversation by themselves, all by themselves. Learn how to initiate a conversation with anyone, especially and including girls. They need to learn how to shoot their shots. It's part of what makes up a man. It's part of what brings the confidence as a man. This is part of the tools you're going to use when you get into a relationship to be able to lead, right? You're able to say, oh, she's not ready, but I'll make the decision. Babe, we're ready to go. Let's go. You're able to do that in an assertive way. But if you're waiting for her to make the move, what else? You're waiting for her to propose, get on her knees and propose to you? What are we waiting for here? Because you're keeping your eyes on the bag? This is confusing, right? Before I play back, let me see what you're saying here, Just Jay. Right, Ola? That's why this man running around acting like divas. Yeah, like you're not a freaking woman, man. Like, stop the cap all day long. Does that mean you should be jumping at everything that's walking around in skirts to talk? That's not what I'm saying. But if you like something, I need you to have confidence to be able to step up and talk to her. Like, come on, man. I need you to build that because if you don't, it's lack of confidence precisely because of the way we're socialized, because of the way this society still is. I'm not talking about 50 years from now. You being able to step up and talk to a girl is confidence, and that's sexy as hell. And if you're not able to do that, that's even worse because you could tell that you like her, but you're just not able to talk. Like, I'm seeing a lot more people saying they're all these fine men, but when they open their mouth to talk, they don't know how to talk. Like all these men who have all these muscles, they're working out and all this shit, but they're not able to talk to women. After they say 2 or 3 things, it's all lame and stupid. It's probably some shit like, what do you bring to the table? Something stupid like that. Right? So I'll push back at this. We're all the price. All of us are the price. All of us are the price. But I get what you mean. I see what you mean. Some men they overreact to this. If a woman tells you she's the price, so what? Is she the prize or not? If she's not the prize, you don't have to tell her, by the way. Okay, your actions will tell her she's the prize. But that has nothing to do with nothing. You should be able to have enough confidence to be able to step up to a woman that you like and say, "Hey, I like the way you're rocking that. What's your name?" You need to be able to say that. If you're not able to say that, you're wussy. And we need to tell you exactly that. If a woman is not able to say that, it's okay because she got people sliding in her DMs. You will be the first to tell me those talking points when we get down to it. Let's get back
Right.
to
I'm completely absolved from this conversation because I don't shoot DMs, right?
That's cap. That's cap, Anton. You don't shoot DMs, whatever. I believe you, whatever. But if you've never shot DMs in all 18 years of you being married, I disagree. Unless you're really that lame. I don't think so. I just don't believe that. Okay. But that's besides the point. But who am I?
I've never shot a DM to a chick in my life, right? Partially because I'm married, of course, obviously.
It doesn't matter. So you're married, what? That means you're holy? You never shot the DM, not even to say hello? Just because you're actually attracted to that person, just because you're married, it doesn't matter, right? I'm not saying it's okay to do that. I'm not saying people should do that. I'm saying people do what they do. Stop the cap. The fact that you needed to tell me that tells me that it's cap. But anyway,
But I've never shot a DM, right? But on the flip side of that,
before he says the flip side, on the flip side, maybe he's trying to say, okay, I know I'm not supposed to advise you, but maybe that's what he's trying to say. Maybe I'll give him that little leeway if he wants to escape through there.
if you winning and you leveling up, to be honest with you, you ain't got to shoot no DM, bro.
That's bullshit. What if you find something that you like? You should DM. There's too many people winning financially. Everything else, multiple six figures, but they're still lame. There's a bunch of people following Kevin Samuels like that. Well-educated people, sophisticated people, but when it comes to women, they become wussy unless we're bashing women.
Real talk. They'll shoot it to you. They'll literally find you and shoot it to you all day long. All you got to do is continue to do you, continue to ignore them. Don't.
This do you thing is this do you thing. Even Anton himself will push against it, right? That's exactly what Will Smith and Jada were doing. They were doing them, but it worked against them. Just because you did you doesn't mean it's going to create a good result all the time. Just because you're doing you does not mean it will create a good result all the time or create good results all the time. You could be doing you and be delusional at the same time. I'm just going to do me until good things come to me. That's how, for real, that's how life works? No, especially as men. We have to go after what we want. We have to be a little bit more aggressive than quote unquote humility. We have to be humble, yes. But sometimes you have to just take the bulls by the horn, especially as men. What kind of advice is this? Just do you. But then they end up in the manosphere, they start bashing women. Like, nah, I hear you. Well, people don't stop being attracted to others. It doesn't have to be. Yeah, exactly. Listen, I shoot, like sometimes I'll just send a message because I find that somebody is, they could be useful in business, right? I need that same skill set. I need to be able to send a message and say, hey, I like what you're up to. I like your platform. I like what you do, right? So you're not exactly exonerated from that experience. We're all living in it. So the only difference you can say is that some people are scared because this is a girl they're actually sexually attracted to and they're afraid. That still speaks to the point I'm talking about. That still says you lack confidence, and we must talk about that. We still have to talk about that.
Pay them no attention. The more that you ignore them, the more that they're gonna be on your dick. That's just the way it's gonna play out every single time. The less you care, the more they're gonna be on your dick, bro.
Yeah, that's cap. That's absolute cap all day long. You're just gonna be invisible. They won't see your ass. Who knows? If, especially if you're short, fat, and ugly. They don't like us saying that. Especially, you better show yourself. You better make yourself available because sometimes when you open your mouth and talk, people can feel that energy. They can become attracted instantly because of the sound of your voice or just simply because of the confidence. But you're going to shoot yourself in the legs because Anton says, hey, just keep your eyes on the bag. Bullshit all day long. It sounds too absolute and it's just not accurate by any stretch or any means. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
Command C, Command B, Command C, Command B, Command C, Command B.
Then you gotta like find them and go to their profile.
But once you get it copied, all you gotta do is just keep hitting Command B, Command B, Command B, Command B. And the more I think about this shit, is women is crazy. I ain't even think about the kind of technology. You know what I'm saying? You can do that. A super fine line that you know that work, and you can just paste the fuck out of that bitch.
I honestly think that it's more effort.
like editing their bodies and all of that stuff in their pictures too. Like
But
definitely.
do you honestly think it's more effort to send a message on your phone in 5 seconds than it is to physically go up and approach a woman and try to get her number or get her contact to be able to contact? When you have the DM, you basically have her number because that shit goes to her
I
phone.
do. I
Okay?
think it's more effort because you
No.
put an effort to interact with somebody that you don't even know is going to respond to you, right?
Exactly.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. All right, I'm going to talk about the Control V. Hold on. For me, what I can take from that message is LOA. LOA sounds like a business document to me. Letter of agreement. What is that? I'm probably lost. Manifesting stuff. But for the misguided, they would take that. Oh, law of attraction. Am I correct? Manifesting stuff. But for the misguided, they would take that and jump out the window. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I got what you're saying. Yeah. All right. So what he was talking about, Control V, is when you Control C and then you paste. Control V, Control V, Control V. He's suggesting that this is so simple, right? That you could just have somebody like Babyface write up a poem or something like that. I don't know if he said Babyface, but he mentioned somebody's name. Write up some kind of uh, Love Jones type of poem, and then you just copy that shit and paste to people's DM until you find a chick. And I'm like, what? Listen to him again. Listen to him. It's confusing. Yeah, copy paste. Not only that, if it's any type of sophisticated platform like Instagram or Facebook, right? Or any, if you copy paste exact copy, you're gonna be detected as spamming. The algorithm will detect you as spamming and will block you, right? Will block you. It's happened to me before, not shooting DMs, but I think I was copying a comment and putting them on videos on YouTube, right? This was struggle YouTube days, right? I'm still struggle YouTube, but anyway, you get my gist, right? Copy paste the same comment, right? I think I wanted to comment on the same types of videos, and before I knew it, YouTube literally deleted the channel that I was commenting with. This happens on every platform. It's easy way to be detected as spamming. Spamming doesn't mean a machine is doing it. It could be a human being spamming. You're effectively spamming when you do that, right? And it's an easy way to get shadow banned or deleted off of the platform. That's number one. Number two, it's actually much more. That's what Kayla was speaking to. It's actually much more time consuming than you realize, right? It's a question of quantity versus quality. I'm not a believer in saying people should focus on just quality and no quantity. I believe it's a numbers game always, but I believe it's a balance more so. It's a balance. You still need some level of quality. And like you said, Just Jay, it's easy to spot. People can tell that you're full of it, right? They can tell. So that's what he's speaking to.
Command C, Command B, Command C, Command B, Command C, Command B.
Then you gotta like find them and go to their profile.
You see how stupid that sound? That's how stupid it's going to look. That's how stupid it's going to look. And then look at Anton's face. Anton was confused. Like, what is he talking about?
But once you get a copy, all you gotta do is just keep it Command V, Command V, Command V, Command V.
So he actually helped you. He thinks he's helping you now. He said, once you got it copied, you don't have to do Control C, Command C anymore. Just do Command V, Command V, Command V.
And the more I think about this shit, is women is crazy. I ain't even think about the kind of technology. You know what I'm saying? You could.
He's dead ass. He is dead ass.
Do that. A super fine line that you know that work, and you can just paste the fuck out of that bitch.
That's
honestly think that it's more effort.
like editing their bodies and all of that stuff
And then it fades into nothing.
in pictures too. Like
But
definitely.
do you honestly think it's more effort to send a message on your phone in 5 seconds than
That's how people literally shoot themselves on the legs. They try to do a shortcut and then they shoot themselves on the legs effectively. There are some things in life that requires you to do the work. You actually have to do the work. Work is not a cuss word. It's a good thing. Because lames and lazy ass people will always try to cut corners and not do the work, and you get to win in life when you do the work. When people say marriage is such hard work, they say that like it's such a curse word. It's not a curse word. The other side of that, the flip side of that, the good thing about that is it's worthwhile when you figure it out. It's worth everything, literally. When you start to think about the family structure, legacy, your children, a sense of belonging, a sense of significance, right? A sense of fulfillment. Once you start hitting the age of 50, 60, 70, these are the things you're going to look back that will matter to you. Going clubbing, drinking, sleeping with a bunch of women and counting your leg counts are not going to matter to you when you're 77 years old. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. The things that will matter in life will be family, legacy. The thing that will matter to you when you're 99, you're about to take that last breath, will be family sitting next to you. Granted, they don't have to be blood, but still family, right? Just people around you, your relationships are the things that will matter to you, that last breath, and the things that will matter to people after you're long gone. That's the fact right there. So do the work. Please don't do Control C, Control V. Do the work, please. In any one of those things we are talking about, okay? And that's what Killer is speaking. Do you think it's actually easier? No, you're actually creating more work for yourself. Not only can you get your account deleted instantly because of spamming, now you have to start from scratch all over. You're actually coming off as the lame that you are for doing something like that. And I don't think Logic was serious. I think it was joking around. But some people are literally going to take that and run with it and say, hey, you know. Plus, even if no one is going to run with it, it's good to point out this lesson. Please do the work. It's easy to do the sign language, shaming, insulting, guilt tripping, blaming, judgment, condemn. That's easy. Do the work. Put yourself in a position where, listen, it's no one's fault. It's not my fault either. And if it was, I forgive myself. Let me face the mirror. Let me hold myself accountable. Let me do the work.
it is to physically go up and approach a woman and try to get her number or get her contact to be able to contact. When you have the DM, you basically have her number because that shit goes to her
I
phone.
do. I think it's more effort because you put an effort to interact with somebody that you don't even know is going to respond to you, right?
Exactly.
And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Just Jay. Special shout out to you for always supporting. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. For the 2 other people watching me live, thank you so much. I don't know who you are, but thank you for hanging out with me. And I'll be back here again next Thursday live. Before that, I'll be dropping a bunch of clips, short versions and stuff like that. Please support, hit the like button, subscribe, all of that. Do the needful to support. I appreciate you. See you on the next one, and peace.